Hope you're having a good Wednesday, this January 24th. The word for you today, walking with God. Wouldn't you love to do that, take a walk with God? I mean, I have all kinds of questions I'd ask him. Our scripture passage is Genesis 5:24. It says, Enoch walked with God, then he was no more, because God took him away. Well, you know what this is talking about. Enoch lived to be, I think it was 365 years, something like that. And then God took him. Why? He did not die a physical death. He and Elijah, prophet, Old Testament prophet, are the two people who did not die a physical death. Well, Enoch lived in a time of great wickedness. This was before the flood, and people been around for a while, and people were becoming very wicked. God judged the world with the flood, and Enoch didn't have to live through that. This verse tells us two things. One, that Enoch walked with God. He had a personal, close relationship with God. So let me ask you, do you walk with God when you don't understand something that's happening in life? You say, God, I don't know what's going on here. Or maybe something's going on really good. You say, God, this is wonderful. Do you walk with God? Because when you walk with somebody, you talk with them. And then, second thing, God did not make him suffer physical death, but took him to heaven. Tells us those two things. Well, I don't know that God's going to take you or me to heaven without experiencing physical death, but one thing we can do is we can walk with God. How? How do we do that? Well, when you walk with somebody, you talk to them. Very few people will walk very far together without saying anything. So normally we talk together and we spend time together. And when you do that, issues come up. Things that are important to us, things that aren't important, but we talk about all kinds of things. And you get to know one another. So as we walk with God, we make it a habit in our life of walking with God and maybe driving with God too, huh? Just tell him some things you're thinking about, things you're concerned about, some of your joys. What are the benefits of walking with God? Well, peace. God gives us a peace that this world can't give. Our world has all kinds of issues and troubles. But if we walk with God, he will give us a peace in spite of all of those difficulties. Wisdom. God helps us to understand things. God helps us to find things. You ever missing your car keys and you've got to get somewhere? Ask God where they are. He knows where they are. And then rest. Sometimes we just need to take a deep breath and we just need to rest. That's also when you walk with God, he brings rest. When we walk with God and let him do the leading, sometimes we might be surprised where he takes us. A guy named Earl Palmer was writing about a pre-med undergrad student at the University of California at Berkeley. This man became a Christian after a long journey through doubts and questions. While he was a student, he came down with the flu and he missed 10 days of classes. One of the classes was organic chemistry class. Missing 10 days of organic chemistry could absolutely destroy your chance of passing that class. But there was another student in the class who was a Christian. This Christian carefully collected all the missed lectures and assignments and brought them to him, and then took time to help him and walked with him through that process so that he was able to complete the class. Years later, this pre-med student, now a committed Christian, said, that this just isn't done. And I probably wouldn't have done it, but he gave that help to me without any fanfare or complaints. I wanted to know what made this friend of mine act the way he did. I found myself asking him if I could go to church with him. Later, Earl Palmer, who was telling about this, said, I think the best tribute I ever heard concerning a Christian was the tribute spoken of this student. The pre-med student said, I felt more alive when I was around this friend. When we walk with God, God will lead us to people that we can make a difference in their lives. God will lead us to people that will make a difference in our lives. But we need to be walking with God. So today, have you walked with God today? You say, well, I haven't gotten out of my chair. Okay. Share with God. Whatever you're doing, spend time, talk to God. And then listen, see what God has to say. And see where he takes you. Have a good day.